it's me. I'm back. I know it's been a little while since I uploaded a video. You know, cancer. Do you like my hair? I just bought it. It's fake, obviously. I'm still bald underneath, but I can't film a video bald. So I wear my hair for you guys. Anyway, today I wanted to film a video on things that help me get through AC chemo, because I am done with that portion of my chemo, which is amazing. The 8 weeks just flew by. I had 4 cycles over 8 weeks, and my last one was a few days ago, and I'm on the up and up now from it, which is great. Took me a little bit longer this time. It's cumulative. So I wanted to tell you guys things that help me get through AC chemo. Again, every body is different. Some people have no side effects from AC chemo, and I only hate them a little bit. Some people like me suffer. It's like having a 5 to 6 day hangover, but like the strongest hangover in the world that you've never felt before, that you can't get rid of, and other things, but that's the closest thing I would compare it to. So, and I'm sure there's people that get it worse than me. I know there's people that actually get physically ill from it, and fortunately I was medicated, so I at least didn't, you know, throw up or anything like that. So I'm gonna go over with you guys some of my favorite tips and tricks that I learned along the 4, and hopefully if you're just starting, maybe you could look into some of these so you're a little bit more prepared than I was. Okay, so the first, and I dare say maybe my favorite, is Nexium. For the first 2 rounds, I had so much heartburn. It was awful. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. It was just freaking awful. My doctor had told me, I remember back when I first met with her, that there may be some heartburn, and I wish I had dealt with it in the first 2, not by the 3rd, but I just kept thinking it would go away, like if I could control it, like don't eat something, but it didn't. It was unrelenting, and it was building. So the first cycle, it would only last, I don't know, the 4 or 5 days, but then the second cycle, it didn't go away, period. And it was just awful for eating or sleeping. So for the 3rd one, I bought Nexium, approved by my doctor. It was okay, it didn't interfere with the chemo medication. And oh my God, it worked in the first day. The first pill that I took, it says it can take up to 4 days to work, but for me, it worked instantly, and I am so grateful for that. It is a bit expensive. In that container, there's 14 pills, and it works out to be about $1 a pill. In where I live, you have to ask for it over the counter. I didn't need a prescription for it. It was just behind the pharmacy counter. And that's a bit expensive, honestly, considering that I'm going to be taking it all the way up until I'm done my chemo, and then hopefully my heartburn goes away, but who knows. So I got a prescription written by my doctor for the 4th round, which has the same effect, but it's covered by my benefits, which is really nice, because although I would pay for the Nexium, I'm glad not to, since I'm not working right now, and short term doesn't pay as much as full-time job. So, you know, money's tight. The next thing that kind of is in the same category is being properly medicated. So when I first found out I had cancer, I was written a prescription for Ativan, which is an anxiety medication. And I was very concerned about, you know, addiction and dependency, and I wish that I had just taken it as needed, exactly what the bottle had said, because I didn't. I was so concerned with not, you know, getting a dependency on Ativan that I only took it when I felt like I was having a panic attack. And unfortunately, a lot of side effects, not a lot, but some of the side effects that I thought were chemo brain, fogginess, was actually just anxiety. I was in a constant state of high anxiety. So if you have any sort of anxiety, get yourself something to help with that and take it, because it can help you sleep, it helps you think clearer, it helps you manage your symptoms, and it helps you, for me, be more aware of what my symptoms actually were versus what was going on in my head. Another thing that I got for medication was sleeping pills. I didn't sleep for the first 2 rounds. I tried, but the steroids that you take cause really bad insomnia, and part of what helped me recover for the 3rd and 4th round, especially the 3rd was a breeze for me, was sleeping appropriately. When I did the 1st and 2nd, I was getting 4 hours of sleep, and I couldn't nap during the day, and that doesn't help your body recover from anything. So I can understand that there's people out there that don't want to put more medication into their body because, you know, chemo's hard enough, but it's this medication that I'm taking is actually healing me in the long run, I feel. It's just temporary, and when I'm done with chemo, I want to be done with this as well, or maybe when I'm done with this whole process, I want to be done with this stuff as well. It might be a little longer than chemo, but I think it really benefited me. I feel better. I had a better outlook when I took the medication as required. So yeah, so number one is get the right medication. All right, the second thing that really helped me is actually like kind of two-part. One's kind of healthy and one's not, but when you go through chemo, you get really, really bad dry mouth. And I mean cotton ball, horrible, like my tongue, your whole mouth is uncomfortable. So this biotin stuff really helped. It's a moisturizing spray for your mouth. It's just it's got no alcohol in it or anything. And for me, when I'd be lying there at nighttime, oh my God, I'd wake up and I just couldn't sleep. My mouth would feel horrid. And I'd have this beside my bed and just a little in the middle of the night, and my mouth would moisturize and I could fall back to sleep, which was amazing. So I would definitely recommend picking up a bottle of biotin and keeping it by your bedside. It saved my life. The other thing that kind of goes in conjunction with that is dried fruit. Why it helped me is I tried to avoid it at night because obviously I don't want to get a bunch of cavities after this, but the tartness from the fruit would also add a lot of moisture to my mouth, which was very helpful. So those two things, dry mouth, it doesn't sound like it's a problem. It's a problem. So yeah, I used both of those. All right. Instant coffee. So weirdly enough, one of my aversions, sometimes your taste buds can change and you can get aversions to foods that you used to like. One of mine is drip coffee, and I'm a coffee drinker, so I didn't quite understand what was going on at first. So I would make my coffee in the morning, and I couldn't drink it. I'd take a couple sips and be done with it. Now the problem with not being able to drink coffee is that I get caffeine headaches, and yes, I'm addicted to it, and it sucks, but that's not something I personally want to deal with right now. I enjoy coffee. I don't really want to give up that. I like that little boost in the morning. I look forward to my coffee time. And it was getting really frustrating, and Nescafe had sent me a little mini pack in the mail, and I was like, well, you know what, I'll try it because I'm desperate and the caffeine headaches are killing me. So I tried the instant coffee, and oh my God, did it ever work amazing. It tastes like a dream to me. So I don't know how it's so different from drip coffee, but it is. So yeah, I would recommend, if you have an aversion to coffee but you're a coffee drinker, and I would give especially this brand, it's really good coffee. It's a little expensive, but I don't know, I definitely am enjoying it. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is aversion to light. For me personally, and this is actually going to lead into another thing that I think is important, but for me, the light causes severe headaches. I don't know if I would call them migraines. I don't know, but they hurt. And I mean, my whole head would just crush in from the light. So the first round, I didn't realize what was going on, and it was like torture. By the second round, I had figured out that it was the light setting it off, so I made sure to darken everything quite a bit. By the third round, I knew before I went to get chemo in the morning that I was going to come home. It was going to be daytime, and it's summer. The hours are really long. So I was going to come home to brightness. So I made sure to cover all my windows with blankets, and I'd wear a sleep mask. So that way I would find that the light, even the light that would shine through the blanket in my bedroom, would wake me up really early. And even with sleeping pills, it was affecting my sleep. So with the sleep mask, I was able to actually get a good night's sleep because it would be dark all the time. And I found for the last 2 rounds, my headaches haven't been quite as bad from the chemo. The Neulasta that I take is a whole nother ball game, unfortunately, because it causes bone pain and you have bones in your head. But from the chemo, blacking out all the windows and everything, it stopped the light migraines. Which actually leads me into another point right away, which is really important, is pain medication, which I was going to talk about with all the medications, but I think pain medication is a whole separate ballgame. So I don't know what it's like in the rest of the world or with other doctors, but my doctor understands that if you're in pain, you don't need to be in pain, which is amazing. So I started the first 2 rounds with just extra strength Tylenol, and it didn't work, quite frankly. It didn't take away headaches. It didn't do anything. So by the 3rd round, I had asked her for a prescription for Tylenol 3, and it's been amazing. I hope that I won't have to step up from there, but if you have headaches or bone pain or whatever the chemo is causing, again, I understand that people don't want to take medication. They may not want to put something more into their body, or they may not want to get a dependency, but I feel that it's important to focus on yourself, focus on healing. And if you're miserable because you're in pain, or you can't sleep, or you have heartburn, it's very hard to focus on healing from the chemo and healing from what you're going through if you can't treat those symptoms. So if you get migraines like I did, or I think they're migraines, or really bad headaches, get something for them, for God's sakes. Okay, so perhaps the real MVP of chemo is water. Now, my chemo pharmacist, I guess, when I remember the first round that I had, she said she wanted me to drink 2 liters of water on the first 48 hours to flush all the extra chemo out of my body. And she wasn't joking. And also, I think it should be more like a gallon of water that you should be drinking. The more sessions that went by, or rounds that went by, the more water I drank and the better that I would feel. And I don't know if it was just because in my head I convinced myself that I was flushing out any extra chemo. I have no idea. But I felt great if I would drink enough water, and I would medicate, and I would stay out of the light, and I would keep my little mouth moisturized. Oh, and plus the water helps with moisturizing your mouth too, which is awesome. But hydrate all the time. If you think that you've drank enough water, and this goes for people that don't have symptoms on chemo too, or honestly, if you think that you've drank enough water, drink more. Your body needs to flush that out. Plus, it's really dangerous for the chemos to sit in your bladder and your kidneys, so it actually really is important to flush that out, and I really think that it helps for your overall well-being, getting better, all of that. The next, a really good moisturizer. My skin is like baby skin, so unfortunately, it's very sensitive to everything, especially around my PICC line. You can see I've got a little bit of an open wound right there because they're ripping Band-Aids off every week. And your skin is so delicate and smooth and new that it needs a little bit of extra help from you. So get a good cream. And a lot of people on chemo have scent aversions, to certain things. So I would suggest having your cream be unscented. My friend sent me this actually from Give-A-Care. I'll actually link it below. It's amazing. It's a Rethink Breast Cancer. It's stuff you can put together for somebody who's suffering from breast cancer, and 100% of the proceeds will help fund programs that support young women and families affected by breast cancer. So this cream is awesome. It's geared for people going through breast cancer. It's completely unscented, and it's amazing. So yeah, get yourself, if you don't want to use this or buy this, get yourself a really good and unscented cream. Save your scented creams, keep them, but just make sure you have one that isn't, so that way if you do have a problem with the scent, you can still slather it on your body every single time you shower, while you're lying in bed. I would say like 3 times a day. Just coat your whole body and your skull. If you're bald like me, which you will be if you didn't cold cap and you had AC chemo, make sure you're moisturizing up there too. It's skin, it needs it. So, going from a cream where I said don't get scents, something that helped me is scents. Funny enough, the smell of my house bothers me. Not always and not all rooms, but the bathroom in particular, there is a smell that comes off of it, and I don't know if it's me or if it's actually there. I have no idea. But I do know that it makes me physically ill. So for me personally, to camouflage the smell, because I have to use the bathroom, I have a Scentsy warmer with wax melts. And I have it running in there with the door shut 24/7. So when I walk in, I have picked a scent, because not all scents bother me. Some do. But I pick a scent to put in the warmer that I enjoy, even if I'm fresh out of chemo. So that way when I walk into that bathroom, it's not a horrible experience. My bedroom ends up doing the same thing to me at about day 4. I start, and I don't know, maybe it's because the chemicals I sweat out of my body actually do go on the sheets, because I usually change my sheets by the 6th day. but I don't know what it is. So I run my diffuser in there because I don't know, I just like the diffuser moisture. Even when it's hot out, I like it. And I put some drops of oils in there, and that really, really helps me, because these are rooms that when I'm going through recovery, I have to be in. So the fact that they make me sick to be in them was problematic. So once I started doing that, for me, that really helped. I could see how for other people, if you have really strong scent aversions, you may not want to try this, but if you're finding the scent of your house bothering you, normal smells, and you need to camouflage them, maybe go out and see if there's a scent that doesn't bother you, and then that way you can have that candle or a warmer going in the house instead. Okay, so those are all the tips and tricks that I have for surviving AC chemo. I'm sure I had more, but it's over now, so I'm blocking that nightmare out of my head. I hope that it can help you. I know that when I was looking for help online, a lot was to do with menopause, because the type of cancer, the type of breast cancer that a lot of women have, I dare say it's like 55 or 60% of women, has to do with hormone, so they're put into menopause. But for people like me, I'm HER2 positive or triple negative, we aren't put into menopause. So the menopause symptoms aren't something we have to deal with. So it's all the other symptoms that I needed a little bit of help with. So for me, it was a bit of a learning curve. But I did notice that every week, or every cycle, every 2 weeks, I got a little bit better. My fourth one was only bad because of the Neulasta bone pain, unfortunately, but the actual chemo followed the same pattern as the other ones, and the ways that I handled it all worked just as well. If I could have just done without the Neulasta bone pain, which I've heard Claritin helps with, but I haven't tried it, so I didn't want to recommend it, but I am going to try it for my next shot, so we'll see if Claritin helps with that. But I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you want, you can leave me a comment down below. If you want to, please subscribe, and if you think this video could help somebody, please share it with your friends. Aside from that, bye!